Hi everyone, welcome to the video. In this video, I want to show you a dashboard, a small project which I'm working on. And the intention of this project is to track and monitor everything at one place. So if you're working at any open source project or any open source company, or if you're tracking or if you're a contributor of any open source product, so you want to track everything, what's happening in that product and what's the update. So for me, it's a part of role where I have to monitor all these numbers and I have to stay up to date on all the issues and PRs. So I just built a small dashboard where I'm tracking all the GitHub stars, issues and PRs. So number of PRs, number of issues for main repository, which is use Bruno and use Bruno docs. And in the last section, I'm using npm downloads to track all the npm downloads, that npm package which we have for the Bruno CLI. So we are tracking that downloads, which is a weekly downloads, not a monthly downloads. So this is a weekly downloads which we have, and that's a use case where instead of opening so many tabs on Chrome browser where you have to track issues separately, PRs, and for the Bruno documentation you have to open another tab, for the Bruno CLI you have to open another tab. So instead of doing this, I thought like why not to build a small project which will help community as well to just stay up to date with at one place. So I built this, and the build your own dashboard button will work like that. It will navigate you to the GitHub repo. You have to fill your credentials and access token. The important thing is that PAT, which is a personal access token. So the thing is, while working on the GitHub REST API, I found is that you need a PAT, which is a personal access token. You will get from developer settings, GitHub. From GitHub, so personal access token you need because of to make a continuous request to GitHub REST API. So if you're accessing that request without a personal access token, so it just add a rate limits for you. So after making a 5, 10, 7 calls, it just stop working for you, or it gives you some kind of rate limit exhausted or something kind of error. So just solve that issue or just not fall into that issue. You need to use a PAT, which is a personal access token, and how you can get all the authorization, all the done, all things get done, which is available here. So you can use the GitHub CLI. So for the folks who don't know the GitHub CLI is a way to interact with GitHub and everything that you do on the GitHub, the UI part on the cloud. So you can do on the terminal as well. So you can create issue, you can add a description to pull request, and so many stuff you can do with the GitHub CLI. I started exploring that, but I find myself more comfortable with using a cloud instead of going all the way CLI. So if you're someone who's starting with the web development, want to build a small project with API, so this is a really good use case or really good project I can say to get started with how APIs works, and I can receive response data and all this stuff. So this is a curl. I just want to show you a few things. What are the method you want to work, and this is the endpoints where how you get info about repo, owner, repo, and issues. So GitHub really have the good documentation for the REST API and all this stuff. I found it really useful. But the important thing which I want to show you is that the URL which you can hit an endpoint and you can access that. So you can access the URL here. This is a repository name called AutoCAD. I'm looking for the authorization here where you need to, So here is a header where you need to add authorization, and here is a token which you need to pass as your PAT, which is an access token with a bearer prefix. So you have to do that, and once you've done with that, you will be able to make a call and get all the response data. So while exploring that, I found that there is a way you can just quickly set up these things and test it your own. So before doing that, I thought like just a way and just make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. That's why I found that I need to authentication. There is a rate limit for the GitHub API, and just go through documentation. So I will just quickly show how you can do that. So Bruno, the people who don't know Bruno is a API testing tool which is open source, and that's why I like Bruno. There are a lot of features which you can use, and a lot of things you can do which is completely open source. So here's the thing. Here is a GitHub endpoint. You can assume that is the same way I showed you before, where you have to hit this is repos, owner, and repo issues. This is an endpoint which give the number of issues which are open. So I just want to track everything. So I just quickly execute, and I received this. But one thing is that headers. So I have this authorization of this PAT which is coming from my PAT environment. So I have this setup here, and I have some value which is secret, which you don't need to know about that. So, so the basic stuff, nothing fancy, nothing complex. So you execute a request, you need to add a authorization first here to make a continuous call to this request. And I just want to show you how you can access all the stars and all these values inside Bruno, and how you can get started building with your application. So the reason why I'm showing a Bruno, because how you can test your REST APIs, and if there is any public API, how can do hands-on, just quickly get started instead of setting up any project React or something and just trying to fill that. So mostly you can take that Bruno is for your front end right now, and you are just making call this request and you want to access few things. So when you receive a response, so you get a bunch of object or one object with a lot of values. So I can say stargazers, and we can just simply say, we can just simply just search on star, and once you hit that, you will get a 7 results, and we are looking for stargazers values. So this is a stargazers URL. I'm looking for number. So this is a stargazers count, which means now number of stars which GitHub repo have, and watchers count is similar to that. Number of issues you can get, and how many people are using that product, or how many people are contributing that, you can get from the forks count. So this is the thing you can do, and you can just simply access those values from console log response.body, and whatever the value you want to access. So I'll just simply copy this number of stars count. If I just copy this, I'll just simply get stargazers count, and I will just simply open my console. I will delete everything, and if I hit the endpoint, I will receive that value, which is 35,046, which is the number of GitHub stars which we have. And if you want to count a fork, so you can just simply in a response that I want to find out a fork. So I have 6 response is a fork count. You can just simply say fork count, and you can just copy paste it here. So we have fork, and we will get a response as a fork count, which is 1693. So that means that it works, and you can take a Bruno to just explore any public API. There is a JSON placeholder, there is a request, there is a HTTP bin, there is a GitHub API, GitHub GraphQL API. There are so many things. So instead of setting up anything locally, you can do a quick check how things are working, what are the things you need to add, and bunch of stuff. You can use your terminal to go with a curl, but this is a more better way to do that. So this is a thing which I want to show you now, which I want to show you for today's video, and how you can quickly do that, how you can test your APIs with Bruno quickly, and stay tuned for the dashboard. So here I'm just using a Tailwind with React and Threejs for some background animation, because this is something that I'm going to use, and I'm going to keep this as a starting page for my browser. So I will just quickly see all the numbers. So that's why I'm just want to make things a bit attractive, something that which I love, which is customizing, which is my own. So that's stuff. So that's it. That's all for the video. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to join a Discord server if you want to start with the Bruno API testing, or to learn more about APIs and having that conversation. Feel free to join Discord and share your feedback in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe that button. And thanks for joining and watching this video. Thanks.